Hello, welcome. My name is Jared and this is Does This Work, a comedy podcast. I'm chatting to comedians at every level. My guest today is one of the most active and brilliant emerging comedians from Perth, finalist in the Next Gen Comedy Competition, winner of the Best Newcomer 2023 WA Comedy Awards, performs alongside fellow comedians Sean Conway, George Evans on Smoko Bros. He's also a handsome-looking dude.
Fuck, I wouldn't go that far.
Jack Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
I am a gig pig. And non-stop.
There's going to be applause here, like welcoming you, just fanfare. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks
yeah.
for having me, dude.
No, it's
This
cool.
is sick. I love
It's a
the
nice
setup.
little setup. Yeah, I've got my 3D printables up here.
Yeah, Morty's looking a little rough.
More, yeah. Even, I mean, Rick does generally look rough, but yeah, that's my terrible paint jobs.
No, I love it. It's cute.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. And my little on-air sign here, which is very podcasty.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
nice.
I just Googled like cliche things to put on a shelf for podcast and spat that out. And thank you, Timu. And my lightsaber,
Oh, I like that.
my Disney World lightsaber. Do you want to have a play? Here, have a look. Oh, I got this.
Oh, yeah,
I've
all
got
right.
the
You
whole
just
thing.
pulled that out of
Just
nowhere.
pull it out of nowhere. Fucking lock that in. There we go.
I am a
Take
big Star Wars
young
fan.
Padawan. Boom. Yeah.
You got to check out Battle Saber. They're sick. What's this? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not meant to come apart, but it's all some of it's loose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
this.
It does have a little crash thing. If you like give it a little jolt, it'll maybe not. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
that's
sick,
a
man.
little Disney World purchase for me and my son. Well,
Oh,
my
cute.
sons, yeah. Hide that back there for the next guest. Yeah, well, thanks for joining me, man. I'm glad you're here, and I have a question that I ask everyone off the bat, which is why comedy, Jack?
Yeah, my reasoning is really dumb. I was going to a lot of gigs, like just trying to find something to do, and I noticed that people were going in for free, and I'm like, how come they don't have to pay? And Cam Atkins was like, I met him pretty early on, and he's like, oh, they're comedians, so if you're a comedian, you don't have to pay. I'm like, I will bomb on stage if I can come to these gigs for free.
So you were going to comedy already just for the enjoyment of going to comedy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was just bored. I was on compo, so I just had nothing to do with my time, and so I was like, oh, I really enjoy comedy, but I don't see anything at the local level. I was only watching ever like professional stuff, or when Fringe came in, I'd just go and watch as much as I could for a month, and then go and see the big professional ones, and then I'm like, oh, I should seek out something local. And yeah, once I started doing that, I think mainly I was going to just ECC and Windmill, because they were the only two I really knew about.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
Cool.
sort of it was a financial decision more than anything. I'm like, I don't want to pay.
But that's cool. I don't think I've had a guest on yet that went as just a guest of comedy, like a fan of comedy to watch, and then got into it. So who were the people that you were watching perform that you were like, I could do this? Like,
Oh, I didn't think I could actually do it. I just didn't want to pay for tickets.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like I was like, I could eat shit and embarrass myself
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, and then just
and then watch everyone else
Yeah,
perform.
yeah, and then I could save myself $25 a night.
Yeah.
You know? Like
So then what was the first set like then in that case, if it was just about getting in there for $0?
My first set, it was really weird. Like I had Windmill booked in, and then I was talking to people in the scene and slowly getting to know like other gigs and other room runners. And I think it was, I was booked in for the Windmill for my first one. Then I told Shash Kapoor, I think he's in Sydney now. He was running a room it was called Comedy at the Craft, across from Old Shanghai, in I think like an Outback Jack's. And it was, he said, oh, come do my room. And I think that was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. So all of a sudden I went from like having a week and a half to prep to like 6 days. And my first gig was so shit. Like I was so nervous. There's a Scottish comedian called Adam Gray, who I haven't seen him around for a little while. But he's fucking hilarious. And I was like 2 people away from him on the lineup, and he got up and just destroyed, and I just started having a panic attack. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, and sure enough, I got up there, and for 5 minutes it was just dead silence. I sat down, my hand was just shaking. I was like, oh god. And Jamie Salt was sitting next to me, and she just patted me on the leg. She's like, "It's over now."
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I went home and rewrote everything for my gig at the Windmill. And the Windmill used to do a competition called the Wrong Gong. So the Wrong Gong was like, it's sort of like the exact opposite of the Comedy Lounge's gong, where instead of voting for people you don't like, you vote for people that you do like.
I like that. I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
was.
cool.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
It's a
polite.
more positive.
Yeah. It's a nicer, more accepting sort of way of doing things. But the thing that got me is like I walked in and there was 19 comedians on the bill. I got the third highest vote.
Wow.
Yeah, I rewrote everything.
After your second set.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
So I got lucky. I got a dude in the crowd who I was like riffing with,
Yeah.
like just random. Like I had a few crowd work bits that I wrote out, and they were all just working. It was mainly luck. And I remember dropping the first punchline in a room. I think there was 42 people that day. I dropped this punchline and 42 people just laughed at once. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I get used to this.
Yeah, I didn't need another addiction on the pile. You know? I'm like, fuck, here we go again. So, yeah.
That's cool. Good. Yeah, I guess there is something about that, the power that you have, not to sound creepy, but the power that you have over a crowd to make them laugh. Like I've said this before with other guests, but like the difference between me getting a clap doing a music performance as opposed to getting a laugh telling a joke is like infinite. It's like there's way more enjoyment out of it. It's like a way more satisfactory thing. I play music for myself almost. Like I'm in a corner of a pub, you know what I mean, with 150 people.
I also feel like a lot of the time when someone's performing music, it's more of a polite gesture to clap.
Exactly. And it's all golf claps. Like
yeah, it is. Dead on golf clap's a good analogy for it. But yeah, for comedy, it's you've forced that reaction out of it. Like I always compare comedy to cooking a good meal.
Yeah.
Because everything's done behind the scenes, but then you get to experience it with everyone. You get to sit down at that table and you get to enjoy it with them. And there's something powerful is a good word for it with the microphone. Like the second you have that mic and you're on that stage, you command attention. Yeah. And my crowd work bit, I was doing this bit where I'd ask this dude if he was a confident man, and then I'd bring it back later to be like, oh, when I wrote this joke, I was going to imitate sex noises. And to be honest, guys, I've lost my confidence. But luckily, there's a confident man, and then I'd put the mic in front of him and try and make him moan. And I knew I could make someone else nervous. So although I was up there shitting bricks, I knew I could turn that around on someone, and it was really fun. Like the crowd really enjoyed it, and yeah, from that moment on, I was like, I'll probably be doing this to 90 in the Bowls Club. You know? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because there are things like canon moment events where it's like he can make or break you, or you could keep going or quit forever.
I kind of wonder what would have happened if I had 10 gigs in a row without a laugh, because that could quite easily have happened. It's such a fickle thing to try and figure out how to get people to laugh. And if you don't figure it out quickly, you'd feel like, all right, maybe this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
So
the science of it for you, was it like you wanted to research and understand the science of how to make people laugh, or was it like making it work on stage? Was your research?
That was the frustrating thing, is like I am very funny with my friends. Me and probably like two of me mates, like if we're in a room together, all attention's on us because we can sort of get a crowd laughing. We can crush in a room of people we know. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this. And then after that first gig, I'm like, what's the difference? Why is this not working?
Yeah.
Like but it was all, I didn't have anything structured. I had funny concepts, but no structure, no punchlines, no pauses, no, all the stuff, no subversion at all, really. It was just a funny concept in my mind, a funny thing to talk about. And you don't realize that a lot of the time when you're doing humor with your friends, structurally it's there. Once you start researching and learning comedy structure, you're like, oh, we intrinsically learn this because you get positive feedback in the sense of laughter and feeling good from your friends. So your subconscious takes it on and learns these structures, but you don't inherently know what they are, but you have them intrinsically within you. So I think it's sort of, it's almost like it comes out when you're relaxed and you're letting sort of your thought process just cook these ideas. In that
regard, then, do you think that anyone can be funny?
I think anyone can learn to be funny. Yeah, 100%. because the one thing that really sort of blew my mind with comedy is I thought it was going to be some of the funniest humans I'd ever met outside of off the stage. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it's just going to be a bunch of lads hanging out. And then when I got to know a lot of comedians, I'm like, these people are awkward as fuck.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. I'm like, I'm pretty in my own head a little bit at these things, you know, especially when I was first in the scene. I'm like, I don't know. I'm coming in as a 39-year-old man with zero friends, and I'm not coming with anyone. I went to one gig once at one of Xavier's things with a mate, and that was the first just to watch.
Yep.
And my whole thing was like, that guy wasn't very good. I think I'm better than I could do that. You know? And then so that's what started with me. I was like, I thought I didn't have an understanding of how open mics work.
Yep.
So then, and then I went to that one, but then the follow-up ones, I was going by myself. I was turning up alone. I signed up to the Gong. I signed up to Mad Cow alone. I go in by myself. I don't know anyone. So I was very in my own head, wallflower background sort of thing. I wasn't confident.
I was pretty similar. I was going to mainly ECC by me lonesome, and because I was getting up at 4:00 in the morning to go to work, I would only stay for the first half. And I didn't really know anyone in the scene. Like, I knew that the comedians hung out the back, but obviously not being a part of the community, I never like knew anyone to talk to. And then I went to Shash's gig, Comedy at the Craft, and I met Cam Atkins and a dude named Raoul. I'm not sure if he's still in the scene. But the gig got cancelled because the Matildas were playing.
Right.
And like no one was on the streets of Perth. It was like dead. And they rocked up and they didn't realise that it was cancelled. And they're like, oh, we're going to go for a meal. Do you want to just join us? And I sat there having a meal with these two. And I was crushing at the dinner table. And I'm like, I can do this, surely. Like, yeah. So that was like, I made friends very quick to get into the scene, but I was the same. I didn't know anyone who'd ever done comedy in my friendship circle.
Yeah. What about, did you get any heckles early on?
Yeah, that second gig.
Yeah.
I was doing a joke about dropping a vegetable in IGA.
And it's
it is always late aged drunk women that heckle me for some reason. And there was these 4 old ducks who were just on the sauce because it's at the windmill, it's BYO. And I said, dropped a vegetable. And she goes, yeah, it must have been an eggplant. And I'm like, I'll tell the jokes, mate. Come on. Like, but I didn't realise that heckling necessarily, for the most part, like, although I say that it's a heckle, it really isn't. She's trying to add something to the show. Yeah. Like, I've never had too many negative bits of feedback before where people are actually like, you suck, or something like that. You know?
I think that the definition for some over the years has changed heckling from calling out a comedian or yelling shit out to him to just interrupting the show.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like it used to be just like a heckle, you know, like even at the lounge, there's a big sign saying no heckling. But people like, and I don't know, how do you handle heckles now? Like since you started, like how do you feel about it? How do you handle it? And do you lean in because you do a bit of crowd work?
Yeah, I do enjoy the crowd work.
And I don't. So anytime someone yells shit out, I kind of shut it down immediately with not even. I can't even call it crowd work.
Well, one of the best things I learnt was emceeing. Sean Conway.
You're a great MC.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate
MCer,
it.
Is that a word? You're a great MC.
Yeah, good MC. I don't know. I just Sean Conway asked me to help him out with. He had a gig at Hyde Park at one point.
Yeah,
and I think it was like my second ever set there. Like the first set he ever said, he's like, "Can you do 10 minutes?" I'm like, "I had a rough 5. I did not have 10." So he put me up there. I did like 7 and struggled through the arse end of it. And then he's like, yeah, not bad. And then the next week he was like, I want you to MC. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And he goes, the way he explained it is like, you've got to get the crowd into it. So for me, what I thought to do was, all right, to get anyone interested, I'm going to have to directly engage. So having that sort of environment to learn in, because it was a low pressure gig, Sean was there like coaching me through it all. I instantly started like figuring out ways to leap from my material from the crowd work.
Yeah, cool.
So it was just silly things like, oh, you look like someone who believes in star signs. And I'd pick, a woman with too much jewelry or something like that. And that was like a safe way to do crowd work.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I got more and more comfortable with the crowd. And then it got to the point where like I was given the rules for the night, toilets are that way, the special is this, this, and this. And then I said, any questions, guys? And this dude in the audience just went, yeah, can you recommend a shampoo? And it was this big, burly guy, but he had red hair. So I was like, this is coming from a fucking ranger. And like the crowd just erupted. And after that one interaction, I just never got nervous about hecklers, because if they say something negative to you, then you have permission to attack their character or their appearance or something like that. And then because they've already set the tension, you're popping it with that attack or that, sort of clap back. But if they are trying to add something to the show, you've got to roll with it.
Yeah.
So you take their theme and expand on it. And I think that's sort of the safest way, because a lot of people don't realize that, like, for most part, when someone shouts something out, they're not actually heckling you. They're not saying something negative. They're trying to add their own little bit of flair to the show. And if you block that, because they're trying to elevate in their mind, it might not necessarily be good. They might be interrupting your setup or whatever. But because they're trying to elevate, if you attack, instantly the crowd's like, this guy's a bit of a dick. And if that's not your character, you're going to have a hard time getting the crowd back on your side. So once I sort of had that understanding, I went, all right, so there's ways to sort of attack and block, and then there's ways to roll with it. And once I understood that, then anytime someone said something, I'd almost get excited, because I'm like, I've been doing this material for the last 6 months straight, and then some new information comes up to play with, and I'm like, ooh, new toy,
Yeah, I think because I was looking at heckling. Well, first of all, I'm too meticulous with like my sets. Pretty much stay the same in terms of like I've memorized how I want to enunciate certain words. I know how my ins and outs. I know I want to do callbacks, so that I don't leave room and I don't leave space to be heckled. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, and if I am, it can throw off my whole thing.
Well, I was going to say, that's the worst thing you can do, because if you concentrate on script too much, then the second someone hiccups that script, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah, I know. That comes from like that, and that's how I learned to memorize my stuff, was from my acting career.
Yep.
Because I was like, all right, well, this is a script, so I'm going to learn how to do this. And my whole view on hecklers at that point was like, is differing from yours, where it's like, I didn't think they were trying to add to it. I think they were just going, I'm special too. I can do things too. You're on stage. And they wanted to have some kind of attention.
Oh, that happens.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never really allowed for that. Like we were at Port City the other night, and one ticket sold.
Yep.
So like Chris and Xavier and I were all out the front, and then so Chris is just barking on the street. And there's two drunk guys.
That farmer, that dude from the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you were? Yeah, that's right. You were there. That's right.
I was hiding in the
remember.
background.
Yeah, so the
Geek Pig.
Yeah, no, you were. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, that's right. You were hiding in the dark on the couch in the corner, eating ice cream. I remember.
Little
now.
sweet treat after a bomb.
Yeah, right. So one ticket sold. You were there, and then these two farmers. Like I said to Chris when he brought them in, because they were heckling on the street. They're like, fuck no, I don't want to go to no Connie or whatever. And then they agreed, they came in. I was like, good job bringing some hecklers in. That's good. He was like, yeah, bums on seats, whatever. But like, I just knew they were going to yell shit out, and they did to like everyone. No, actually, I left pretty early. Did they yell shit out?
Yeah, for most people.
Yeah, cool.
But it's good. It's really good to have, like, anyone can get up there and recite a script and work on it to the point where it's funny, but you've got to roll with the punches.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it. Like, but really, when I get up, I'm just hoping no one interrupts. And even my rhetorical questions.
Yep.
Anyone go to a private school? It's just a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, how many? Yeah, I won't go into the bit, but like, it's a question. Like, how many of this? And it's like 3, 1. It's a question that's like either a one-word response, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And then I can pretty much keep it going. I don't really get heckled much, but yeah.
The amount of times I've gone, how long have you guys been together? And they want to give you a long-winded story, and you're like, come on, dude, one-word answers.
Yeah. Quick, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years.
Yeah. Give me sharp. Give me the information, I'll run with it.
Yeah.
You just sit there and be entertained.
Is she your side piece? Is the Coldplay concert? Like, what's going on? And how important do you think social media presence is to comedians today, with TikTok being what it is and people posting videos of themselves? I know some people are great, like Ant does it every day. Like certain people are great with it. I'm terrible at it. But what's your opinion?
I didn't really understand how big the role of social media in comedy was up until recently when I went over to Melbourne and I was gigging a bit and I was contacting different clubs and trying to figure out how to get, on. And there were certain clubs where unless you've got a couple of thousand followers, you are not getting on.
Wow.
So you use it as a metric of measuring someone's capabilities, because if they've managed to accumulate this many followers, then they must have some sort of talent or backing, or there's a reason, like a shit comedian isn't going to get 2,000 followers, So to a certain degree, like for depending on where you go, it can be paramount. And also in the current climate of the world, like everyone's moving away from TV. There's not very many people who will go out to a live venue. So to get that extra bit of reach, I think it's just another aspect you need to learn.
Yeah.
I don't think you can shy away. Like I've met some amazing comedians in the scene who they don't have strong social media game. They don't have the real interpersonal networking skills. So although their comedy is just incredible, they're not headlining. They're not getting the weekend spots. And it very quickly became obvious to me when I started seeing that this was a multifaceted thing you need to learn. You can't just be good on stage.
It's part of the beast. It's like...
How shiny is my head on that? Or is that just the window?
Oh, that's the window shining on you. Oh, God, I got to block that out. Block it out. Look at that.
I look like the chosen
Bouncing.
one.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, no, it's cool. there's the screen grab for the YouTube. How would you do you celebrate after a great, those gigs where you just kill and it's a great crowd, everyone's laughing, you're driving home going, I'm a fucking comedian.
So
do you celebrate?
If in the early stages when that used to happen, I'd get home and my voice would be raspy and dry because I would just belt out the song to drive home.
That's cool.
I'll sing to the point where I'm like hoarse in the throat. And I'd walk in and be like, Eric, my partner, Spud, she'd be like, how was your gig? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. She's like, yeah, I can tell. And I really used to celebrate them. And then for the bombs, I'd internalize it to the point where like I'd walk off stage and depending on how bad it was, I would watch the footage back within 10 to 20 minutes to try and figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, well,
why did that happen?
The smart thing to do. I don't do it.
It's also self-torture,
Yeah, I get it, but like why I don't do that anymore is trying to angle you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's all the sun's just come out all of a sudden. It was all cloudy for days on end. I'll black it out next time, I promise.
Oh.
I found. Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Celebrating good gigs and how you deal with the bad ones and watching footage back.
Oh, I don't watch footage back or listen to audio anymore because I found what would happen was like I would think that I ate shit. I thought I did really bad. And then I would watch it back or listen to it back and I actually was like, it's actually okay. Like it did all right. And I was like, I would rather think it was shit and work harder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, rather than go, I didn't do that bad. I'll keep working it.
I don't know, how true this is. I'm only a fucking year and a half, maybe year and 3/4 in. The only problem with that is if you're taking new material up and you're thinking it's not working because you haven't heard those laughs, then you might end up tossing it and it might be a workable bit, because the amount of times I'd done the same thing, I didn't realise that a lot of the time the laughter doesn't actually reach the stage, depending on the stage layout, the acoustics of the room. The amount of times I was just kicking myself, like I fucking dropped the ball so hard, and then the next day or the next morning, if it was a really bad bomb and I wasn't instantly watching it back, I'd be sitting there like, oh fuck, that bit did land. Why did I think it didn't? So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't let go of a bit unless it was just dying in the arse every night. And then the idea of that is that, all right, I'm not going to listen to it back, and I'm going to work it and make sure that I hear a laugh. You know what I mean? And if I start to hear chuckles and whatever, then I know I'm not going to burn it. I won't get rid of it, but I'll know that it's to keep working it. And that's the whole thing, is like, you don't want to just keep bombing with the same terrible bit. You have to keep tweaking it.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. Like
sometimes it's also having faith in a bit that will work, even though the crowd doesn't respond well to it. Because I had a bit that just wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was an intense subject matter. It was abortion. And I got told by someone who was pretty well established in the scene, that's a woman's issue. Do not talk about it. And I'm like, I've been through it. Like it's not just a woman's issue. It takes two people to tango, and that doesn't just affect a woman. You know, like because I went through that sort of thing quite young on in my life, and it was annoying because I knew the joke would work, and I didn't understand why it wasn't, and it was just a matter of my cadence, my pauses, and then once I worked it out, someone said to me, actually I think it was Chris Pacillo, he said, "You're hitting something pretty heavy," and he goes, "You're looking away when you deliver your punchline." He goes, "You're not showing confidence." He goes, "If you show confidence, like you don't give a fuck," he goes, "the audience will respond better." Sure enough, I did that. It started working. Then I knew I'd get about half laughs, half groans with it. And because I knew the groans were coming, I made a tag just for the groans. And because I doubled down, it ended up working. And now that's one of my highest viewed clips. Like the Comedy Lounge put out a clip of it, and it's got 500,000 views.
Oh, jeez. That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It just took off.
You and Josh Durkin probably have the highest viewed reels then.
Oh, for his the One Direction dude. Yeah, Liam Payne. I think Chris Pacillo has come sort of in about pretty close 2 mil on one of his videos. But the weird thing is like, it's the same with actually doing sets. It's like at one point, bombing is a 5-minute set with no one laughing and you just hating yourself. And then at a certain stage, you'll get consistent laughs, but the laughs aren't big enough. They're like, ha ha. Like polite chuckles, and all of a sudden that becomes your bombing level. So your baseline consistently goes up and up and up. And it's really frustrating because the second that video took off, I'm like, I didn't need my first video to be 500,000. Like I know it's going to take fucking years before I might even. Some people never get that, and I'm just like, fuck. Now my base level's up there. And it's doing comedy as well. Is like I didn't need ambition. I'm 35. I wanted to chill out for the rest of my life. I'm like, it's halfway over.
I started at 39, man. I started all the stuff that I'm into now. I started late. I started acting at 30. Maybe 5 years ago, I started music full time, and then a year ago this week, I jumped up stage for the first time.
All right. So have you seen many dudes under 25 do comedy? No.
I was going to ask you about this as well. So I've seen the guys like 21, whatever, Lockie's age, they're killing it, whatever, and then like 35 plus.
Yep.
But like, there's not a heap of in between.
Yeah. So someone like Lockie, little freak of nature, like happens to be relatable and fun at that age. But for the majority of people, you've gone from high school where you're like the biggest fish in a very small pond, and you've brought that energy over into adulthood. So when they jump on the stage, they're unrelatable for most adults, which the vast majority of the audience are adults in, the wide range between the age of 20 to 60.
Yeah.
So you're unrelatable for a vast majority of them. And I think because you don't have a lot of life experience, it's a bad time to get into comedy. You need some patina on you, you need some relatability. You need some scars. You need some battle scars because...
Yeah, Tarbo said the same thing. He's like, you have life experience at 39, 40. I'm 40 years old now.
Yep.
But you have life experience. You have stories to tell. You have a perspective.
Well, you also have the ability to look at things from a different perspective as well. Like to be able to take the mundane and make it funny, you do talk about your kids a lot and you make it hilarious, but it's such a mundane thing for me to listen to because I don't want kids. I'm not really interested, I'm a bit of a party animal. And to hear you make that subject matter entertaining, like that shows like the craft. It shows that, you're engaging with something that's quite boring. Which I think is hard to do when you're a young dude and you're just running off themes,
So talk to me about, are you still doing Smoko Bros?
Maybe.
Keep an eye out. And what's next? What, you got anything upcoming?
I've got a podcast I'm going to release that is not comedy related.
Cool.
So I'm getting frustrated with the state of the world, especially Australia. We're a mineral rich country, should be arguably one of the richest countries in the world. We should be having a lot better quality of life for the everyday Australian, and it's not happening. And I think the main reason is because our politics is fucking boring. Madam Speaker, whatever, So like, I've been watching like Punters Politics, shit like that, and Friendly Geordies, and I'm loving the fact that young people are like making this stuff entertaining and interesting
Yeah.
and getting people fired up. So I talked to one of my mates who's a engineer, and he loves like data analysis. So I'm like, I'll be the comic relief.
Yeah.
You be the dude who actually educates me, because that's what he does most of the time. Is I'll ask him about an issue, he'll go, leave it with me. 2 days later, he'll break down the answer to a very digestible sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to release what we're going to call the Single Malt Revolt.
Single Malt Revolt.
Yeah, we
Watch
love
this
whiskey
space.
and yeah,
Revolting.
Yeah,
Revoluting.
fuck yeah, yeah.
Keep an eye out. That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
thank
We'll
you.
wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining me, Jack. It's
Thank
been
you
great.
for having me.
No,
This
it's
is
cool.
amazing. I love this space. I'm really looking forward to watching some of your
Kill it.
clips.
We'll have you back, and we'll get maybe you and the Smoko Bros on together. Have a little crossover
Hell
episode.
yeah, fuck yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Jack Smith, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me,
Thank you
Jack.
for having
Thank
me.
you. See you next week. Thank you.
Bye.